Hello, everyone. I'm subscribed to a mailing list for the New York Times that is called Race Relations. And this week they're doing a series on families and incarceration. And I happened to look at one of the several articles they've posted this week in, relation to that topic. And I started reading the first, couple paragraphs of the one that I have showcased here on screen. And I don't know. There's something about how the story proceeds in the first couple of passages that caught my attention, made me kind of laugh. I don't know where this story goes after the first couple of paragraphs, but just on the chance that it's entertaining or perhaps informative, I thought I would share it with you because that's the kind of nice guy that I am. So let's all take a look at a couple that crafts together, stays together. This is in relation, I apologize. I mean, it is the New York Times, but this is their project called the Marshall Project. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but it says nonprofit journalism about criminal justice. So I guess we'll see how that goes. A couple that crafts together stays together. Jenny Jimenez and her husband Jesse, who is incarcerated in Illinois, have found creative ways to show each other love, especially around Christmas. Puzzle filters, nail clippers, and Lifetime original movies are involved. Sounds lovely. And this is written in the voice of Jenny Jimenez, the wife. My husband Jesse has been back in prison since last January. Okay, last January will become important shortly. He was released last Christmas Eve, hours before we were married, but we didn't get to do much together during the weeks he was out. Okay, so just to back up slightly, I know, just for repetition and clarity's sake. 2018, Christmas thereof, he gets out of jail. They get married. Remember, Christmas 2018. He had an ankle monitor, and he couldn't even use the upstairs bathroom without it going off because the parole agent hadn't come by yet to give him movement. He couldn't get back to work or begin his engineering classes. He would watch me out the window, struggling with groceries and cleaning snow off of the car, and it began to wear on him. On January 4th, he cut his ankle monitor off in a fit of rage. So he gets out of prison Christmas Eve. He cuts off his ankle monitor January 4th. Continuing. Knowing how frustrating it is to sit in a cell, I try to send him something in the mail every day. Yeah, I think we know what happened after he cut off his ankle bracelet, but let's continue. Whether it's a letter or a printout or something I've made. There's only one person in the mailroom for the prison, which has just over 2,000 people, so I'm determined to get ahead of the holiday rush. Jesse and I have already started our 12 days of Christmas. I've been making gift tags for each of the 12 days and taking pictures of myself wearing them on different outfits. He makes me drawings of the partridge in the pear tree and other gifts from the song that sends them to me. He's a really talented artist. I laminate those and use them to decorate the garland in my living room. Sometimes the prison challenges our holiday cheer. Really, a prison challenges cheer. Oh no. For instance, Jesse spent weeks decorating a t-shirt he bought from the commissary with little turtle doves and hearts. He was making a Christmas pajama shirt for me, but they confiscated it because they said he was using it to send me a message. I sent him a picture of my Christmas tree, but it was sent back. They said it was gang-related because of the 5-pointed star at the top. Quote, no stars, they said. So I've been getting really creative. I learned to use this silhouette machine to make these cutout Christmas trees that I sent him one at a time. Once he gets them all, they'll all go together and make a 3D tree. I sent him little pictures of all the ornaments on my tree so he can tape them to his 3D version. He uses nail clippers to cut around the edges and make little round ornaments. They have these little circular indentations around them because of the shape of the nail clippers. He's not allowed to have scissors. My latest project is a Shutterfly book for the 12 Days of Christmas that when you flip through it, it moves. I put a puzzle filter over a photo of me where he can see my cleavage and the new Mrs. Jimenez tattoo I got on my chest. I sent it on 9 different days so he could put the puzzle together and get a little surprise. Jesse and I have always been different. After he ripped off his ankle monitor last year, we screamed and cried, but the damage had already been done. So we decided to take a road trip together before he had to go back to prison. We would go to Nashville to hear country music and then to Memphis to see Graceland. We booked an Elvis-themed room and everything. It would be our honeymoon. Then we were going to go to turn him in. We were on our way to Memphis when a police car pulled us over for speeding. When we stopped, we looked at each other knowingly. Quote, "Can you get away?" I asked. Then I said, "Go." We took off. They chased us for what felt like an eternity. Then the crash happened. When we were in the same ambulance together, we were in the same ambulance together. I was screaming like a banshee in pain, holding on tight, handcuffed to the bed next to me. Holding on tight to him, handcuffed to the bed next to me. I apologize. I'm laughing for some reason. He kissed my hand before I was airlifted to the hospital with a spinal cord injury. They took Jesse to a different hospital, and I didn't have my phone. He kept calling for days. He was so worried about me, and I was worried about him. Neither of us knew the extent of each other's injuries. Later, someone brought my purse in from the wreckage. It was about a week from the day of the crash before I was able to pick up his call. Now that Jesse is back in prison, we communicate as much as we can, but it's really hard. Earlier this year, they suspended my visits. Maybe because you were aiding and abetting a fugitive? I don't know. I got a letter saying I falsified information on the form. Turns out there was a woman in the system who had the same name as me, and when she came up in the system with a different birthday, they cut off my visits for 4 months. We haven't been able to do video visits either because the terminals in the prison are broken. Recently, our phone calls have also been cut from 30 minutes to 20 minutes. It's only 10 minutes less, but that's all we have, so it feels so much longer. Gosh, if there'd only been some way you guys could have stayed together. If only. Another way we stay connected is to watch TV together, our date nights. It helps us feel close knowing that we're both watching the same thing at the same time. I ripped out the list of all the holiday Lifetime movies they've been playing from a magazine, and I circled the ones I want to watch. He also picked out some of the ones he wanted to watch, and he sent it back to me. Each week we sit down and watch them at the same time. He watches them on a TV in his cell, and I watch them in my living room. I send him emails as we watch. He doesn't see the messages right away because he has to check his email on a barely functional tablet. But I'll just send whatever comes to mind. Silly things like, "Wow, look at her dress." Even if he doesn't get it for days, he'll know I was there watching with him. The limited communication has been one of the hardest things to get used to. Woo, let's try that again. The limited communication has been one of the hardest things to get used to. I want him to know I am always here no matter what. Even in the face of eluding police, she's always there. Jesse can be so tough, but he has a heart of gold. It's difficult being in that horrible, egotistical environment. Prison? Okay. I think that without our communication, he wouldn't be such a divine, loving man anymore. he would become institutionalized and depressed. Gosh, if only there had been some way to avoid this tragic turn of events. Admittedly, I flood the mailroom with letters, cards, and books, but I want him to get something every time they do pass out at the prison. He'll always be reminded that he is loved and not forgotten. Jesse's release is scheduled for next December. When he gets out, we're going to finally have our big wedding ceremony. I just booked the venue for Christmas Eve. Will Jesse be fitted with an ankle bracelet by any chance? Yeah. You see, here's the thing. If he couldn't stand sitting around in his house for like, I mean, I don't even know how long you'd have to wear an ankle bracelet. I don't understand. I don't know the circumstances. But if he's so stupid, so self-destructive, so impatient and irrational that he's going to cut off his ankle bracelet because he can't help you bring in the groceries, I hate to tell you this, you didn't get a catch. So I think you deserve each other, especially when pulled over by the cops when you were supposedly on your way to turn him in regardless, and you say, "Can you get away? Go!" And then you crash your car and get a spinal. Anyway, guys, I just came across this. I didn't know about the running from the cops thing. I just saw the cutting off the ankle bracelet part, and I was kind of like, what happens next? There you go. Some Christmas romance that everyone can enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this story time. It wasn't going to be a long stream, but I just thought I'd share. So I hope everyone is having a good day, and hopefully I'll see you tonight on Lords of the Night on this channel. Goodbye, everybody.